Hey, y'all, and welcome to another gathering of the Lowcountry Book Club. I'm Susan Boyer, and I'm here, as always, with my literary partner in crime, Susan Zurenda.
I'm so glad to be here, as always, with my literary partner in crime. We are, albeit from our homes this time, we are usually together having lunch, but today we are in our respective towns, and we're so happy to welcome Heather.
Our book of the month is The Forget Me Not Library, and we are thrilled to welcome its author, Heather Weber. She is a USA Today best-selling author of more than 30 novels. We were just discussing how many. She thinks the number is 35, but she could be forgiven of losing track when there's so many of them. She's been twice nominated for the Agatha Award. She loves to read, drink too much coffee and tea, birdwatch, crochet, and bake. She currently lives near Cincinnati, Ohio, which is, I understand, where she is now. And it's hard at work on her next book. Heather also writes under the pen name Heather Blake. We'll ask her more about that later. Heather, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me and for choosing the Forget Me Not Library as this month's book club. I'm so excited to be here.
So to start us off, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Where are you from originally? Who are your people?
Who are my people? I love that question. My people are all over. So I was actually born in the Southwest because my dad was in the Air Force. So I was born in Utah. I grew up until I was 9 in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then my parents moved us back to their hometown in Massachusetts, my brother and me, when I was 9. And we lived there in Massachusetts until I was, 21 maybe. And by that time I was married with 2 little ones, and we ended up here in Cincinnati, and we've been here since.
Right.
Been a little over 31 years now. So,
Wow.
So a little bit of everything for me.
Wow.
Very good. Well, one of our readers, Stephanie Wagner, noticed that a lot of your novels are set in Alabama, and she's curious about that connection. So the question is, what draws you to that particular setting?
I know I get that a lot because I'm from Cincinnati. It's a little bit of a long story. In 2007, I was invited down to a mystery conference in Birmingham, Alabama. It's called Murder in the Magic City. And so I went down, I flew down, and they have a sister event called Murder on the Menu, and that's in Wetumpka, Alabama.
Oh, I know Wetumpka.
Yeah, isn't it the sweetest town?
I've had a book event in Wetumpka.
Yeah, Sweet Home Books. They're wonderful there. Mm-hmm. And so I had to drive from Birmingham to Wetumpka, which was about an hour and a half on the back roads. And this is the day, I mean, it's 2007, so it's still like paper MapQuest, and I'm like looking at the map and driving. And it was a beautiful February day, and the sun was out, my window was down, and something happened to me on those back roads. And I was like, I just feel a connection here. I love this place. And by the time I made it to Wetumpka, I was ready to like pack a bag and move. But my husband's job was up here. So we had to stay up here. And I said, well, if I can't live down here, I'm going to write books that are set down here. And that way I can keep coming back as much as I want to for research. And so that's what I've done. I actually have a mystery series set there as Heather Blake that's set just outside of Huntsville. And then when I decided to start writing standalones, I said, I'm just going all in. I'm going to set them all in Alabama. And that's what I've been doing since.
Neat. Good story.
So I'm going to turn now to the town, the library, and the cat. So Cindy Cindy, you'll have to tell me how to say that because I've suddenly forgotten if I knew. Cindy wanted to know how you developed the idea for the town itself. We're assuming that Forget Me Not is a fictional town.
It is. So what I do is I create fictional towns in Alabama, but I set them kind of near other towns. So people familiar with Alabama kind of know where they are on a map. So for Forget Me Not, now see, I'm blanking. Oh, I know, I remember where I said it. I was invited down to a library in Fayette, Alabama, a few years ago. And it's the cutest little small town. It's got the big courthouse. It's got all the little shops. It has a big mural on a wall. And I said, and the library was tiny. And it's just the sweetest people showed up. And I'm like, I love the feeling of this. And I kind of love a little small library with, I think I say in the book, a small library with a big heart. And that's kind of exactly what I wanted to create in this story, is a library with a big heart. As for like the cat and all of that, so for me, I knew I wanted to write a book about memory loss. And I didn't really want to kind of go down the road of dementia and Alzheimer's, because I feel like there's a lot of books out there that do that. And I mean, I might have already done it too in my past. But I really wanted to focus on not just memory loss, but when a memory comes back to you. I've had some memory loss in my life of my childhood. I think a lot of us kind of have big gaps in our childhoods. And but every once in a while, something will remind me of something that happened. Like my brother will say something, or my parents will say something, or I'll see a picture or a song or a scent or something like that. And I'm like, I love that feeling, that little bit of joy of something that came back to me. So that's what I wanted to put in these novels. And they're found in the library. Those memories are found in the books on the shelves at this library in Forget-Me-Not, Alabama. And for the people who kind of, take a sniff of these books, they're given back a memory that brings them a little bit of comfort and guidance in their lives to kind of drive them forward. Because most of the people that aren't from Forget-Me-Not are a little bit lost. So they need a little bit of guidance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. Another reader, Kathy Oswald, loves the cover. And especially, we're back to the cat. And
Yes.
a number of our readers just sort of thought the cat was kind of guided the story.
Yeah.
So can you talk about how the library and the cat itself, are you a cat lover, came to
I
life?
love cats. We have allergies in our house, so we can't have cats. But I grew up with cats. We had mostly when I was growing up, we had a cat named Rama. He was a Siamese, and just the attitude, we loved him. He lived till he was like 17 or 18 years old. So I pretty much, my whole life, I knew him. He was there before me. So I kind of love cats. And I knew for this story, I needed a way for my characters to find the memories that were in the books on the shelves.
Right.
I didn't want to do like the supernatural, the book falls off or something like that. I mean, I do have like a supernatural magic, of course, but
Right.
I didn't want it to come flying off the shelf, at
Right. You wanted the cat to be magic.
Yes, right. So the cat's kind of the one that chooses the book for the patron. And I just kind of love the backstory of the cat too, how I think everybody's read the book in this book club, so I think I can spoil it.
And we forgot to say, we don't worry about it.
Okay. So, spoiler alert, the cats are kind of the spirit of the very first librarian who started her own library in Forget-Me-Not.
That's right.
Ages ago.
Wow.
And that spirit just lives on through these cats that kind of live in the library, are taken care of by the library directors through the years. And I just kind of love the idea that there's kind of a guardian of books and memories, and who want to kind of, librarians are the most helpful people on earth anyway, right? So, and she's kind of continuing this in a way.
Yeah. And cats are associated with magic, in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, speaking of magic, I think that's where we're about to move.
Yeah.
Right. Or, and you talked about the small library in the town. Okay. Another reader, Pat Tarter, mentioned that while she's not usually a fantasy reader, the touch of magic realism really works for her in the book. So, I mean, I know this is not the first book where you have magical elements. So what brings you to choose this genre to work in?
So when I first started writing magic, it started with, I have a mystery series called the Lucy Valentine novels. And she is a psychic who solves cold cases with the state police and also finds lost loves with her family's matchmaking business. And I kind of fell in love with the freedom that writing about magical worlds gives an author, because you can the door's wide open. You can pretty much do anything. So when that series ended, I knew I wanted to continue magic, and I did that by writing a witch series. Those are the ones that under Heather Blake. I have two series. It's the Wishcraft Mysteries and then the Magic Potion Mysteries. And they're just lovable. Well, the Wishcraft books are lovable witches. And the one set in Alabama, she kind of creates magic potions for people. She's not truly a witch. She calls herself a mystical bartender. So
I need her.
Yeah. So don't we all? So when I decided to start writing standalones, I knew I wanted to kind of continue the magic elements, but I didn't want to do witches. I didn't want to do potions, and I kind of fell in love with the idea of the magical realism genre. To me, the queen of magical realism is Sarah Addison Allen. So if anybody's ever read any of her books, you know magical realism very well already. But it's just kind of a gentle magic. It's not, it's not a fantasy kind of. It's in the fantasy family for sure, but it's not like it's not witches and wizards and dragons, and it's just kind of a gentle everyday magic. Like for this one, you get a memory returned to you in a book. So it's just kind of that gentleness, which I love.
Yeah, and Susan has that in her Liz Talbot series novels. She has a ghost, if you will, and it's very much like that. It's just accepted as part of the world that the folks are living in, and it's wonderful.
And it's fun to write, isn't it? It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's and then as is the case with magical realism, one starts to simply accept that as part of the world. Marquez established that. You just start accepting that as part of the world.
Right. And that's the true definition of magical realism. It is truly normal in the pages of those books. Yeah. And, I personally love to think that there's really magic out there helping us, because I feel like, any help we can get as humanity, let's take it. So I'm always looking for it.
So there's the magical realism that we just talked about. And then also Laura Vasquez had mentioned that she loved the spiritual elements. And I guess there is a distinction between the magical elements and the spiritual elements. I suppose there's a distinction between the magical elements and the spiritual elements, the feathers, the robin, the dream catcher. Do you always incorporate these into your stories? And do you make that differentiation in your mind? Is this all part of the same thing?
So they are a little bit different, right? One's more of kind of a plot device, I guess, like you're getting a memory back. And the other one is more of a feeling. It's more of an emotional connection. Even though the memories that are returned can be emotional, it's not kind of the same thing as you think a robin might be your grandfather, or you find a feather and it reminds you of a lost loved one, and those kinds of things. And for me, I write a lot about grief in my books. All my standalones have an element of grief in them. And I just feel like having that connection, it's very comforting to me as a person and to me as a reader. So therefore, for me as an author, I like to kind of make that connection, that reminder that we're not ever, like, love never dies. It is always there, whether it's in a memory or whether it's in a feather. It is still there with you.
Good. Every time a red male cardinal flies in front of me, I say, "Hello, Daddy."
Oh, I love that.
I choose to believe it.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. I totally believe.
Superstitious.
Yes.
Reader Pat Dupuy wonders where the pearls of wisdom come from, and I enjoyed those very much as well. And then specifically why, and I don't know. I mean, I read all the pearls of wisdom, but there must be a lot of about robins. I somehow didn't key into that, but she says specifically why the robins with the pearls of wisdom.
So I don't actually remember Robins with Pearls of Wisdom. So
Well, and maybe it's two separate things, and I'm reading her question wrong. It may be Pearls of Wisdom, and then why did you choose? Maybe let's just take it separately. Robins is the particular bird you focus on.
You know, like I said, my memory is a little iffy myself, so there could be something with robins there. So for the Pearls of Wisdom, when I first initially sat down to write this book, I really wanted to have it be kind of a love letter to the older generation. And I feel like sometimes those little bits of wisdom get lost. It gets lost in this digital age, and everybody's like on TikTok and,
Right.
Instagram, and it just kind of gets lost, this wisdom. And it was just my little way to bring that back and to appreciate what we've learned from others who've come before us. And, I hope to someday have little bits of wisdom to pass on to my kids.
Yeah. Well,
Who knows?
The book was compiled, of
yes.
that. And robins in particular, as opposed to another bird with spiritual meaning?
So most of my books have a bird in them. And so this one just happened to be the robin because it was the protector from lightning and storms.
Didn't hear that.
So I connected that, and I don't think it's so much the American robin, but the European robin is known for being like a lost loved one. It's kind of like our cardinal. That's how it is in the European robin version. But I just kind of fed that into my story too.
And the protector of lightning.
Yes, from lightning and storms. Yeah.
Wow, who knew?
I've never heard that.
I hadn't either.
There seems to be a trend right now toward what we're calling cozy fantasy, but you've been writing in magical realism for years. Do you see those as kind of the same thing, or is there a distinction?
I feel like they're very similar. Sometimes the cozy fantasy, it can be a little bit more of the supernatural. One of my favorite cozy fantasy books is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And for example, she has a sentient plant. Like, I don't think I would do a sentient plant in my books, but I love it in hers. And so that's kind of like it's a fine line, right? We're all different branches kind of on the same tree. So it doesn't bother me if somebody says my book's a cozy fantasy. I'm like, just bring it on. I'll take it. I heard them described recently as uplit, and I'd never heard that term, and I was like, I like it. It's basically short for uplifting fiction,
Right.
and uplit fiction. And I was like, all right, I'll take it.
I haven't heard that term.
Yeah.
Have you
heard it, Susan? Have you heard that term, uplit? Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, my next question, I think we've sort of covered. It's about what personally draws you to, writing about magical events. And I think we've talked about that.
So I'm going back to the Pearls of Wisdom for a second, because I really did especially love those. And my favorite is Nothing Changes If Nothing Changes. How did you decide which of these truths to put in your story? How did you come up with your list? Right. Did they each apply to the chapter? They seem like they kind of did, but how'd you go about that?
So I went about collecting wisdoms, and I found some on Pinterest. I found some on Reddit. I just knew some from just being alive. And I threw them all into a Word document. And probably by the time I was done, I maybe had 2 full pages of wisdoms, which I know I didn't need them all. So then I kind of broke them into characters. Which ones, like Isabel, for example, tended to do the financial wisdoms. And then Vera tended to do the baking wisdoms. And Rennie was more like from the heart or romantic.
These were my favorites.
Yeah. And, maybe a little bit funny and then also poignant. And so I kind of divided them into character. And then I also tried to fit them to whatever the chapter would be. I think maybe Vera in one chapter mentioned how everything tastes better served out of a mason jar, drinks. And in that chapter, they're drinking out of a mason jar. So I tried to kind of weave them into where they belong to fit what was coming in the chapter.
All right. Well, thank you. Reader Stephanie Brown has asked, what was your favorite book as a child? And this is, I personally, it's always hard for me when somebody asks me my favorite book. So I'm gonna change that to a favorite book that you had as a child and
So
as an adult and a writer.
yeah, so for me, for me, I don't have a lot of childhood memories. I really don't.
You mentioned
It's very vague. So I don't remember a favorite childhood book. The first book I feel like truly kind of connected with, and looking back now, it kind of changed my life. I was in ninth grade, and we had gotten an English assignment to read The Hound of the Baskervilles. And it was a Friday night, and I think we had to read one chapter by the next Monday. And I didn't have anything to do, so I'm like, oh, might as well just read that chapter and get it over with. I finished the book that night.
Of course
and
you did.
yeah, my love of mysteries was born. So I went from like Arthur Conan Doyle to Agatha Christie to Mary Higgins Clark. I mean, I just drank it in. And of course, I ended up writing mysteries later in life. So it kind of all came full circle, which is kind of neat. My favorite book as an adult, that's really hard. My go-to answer is Pride and Prejudice. I just love everything about that novel. But there's a lot of books that I love for different reasons, because maybe they connect to you.
Yeah. It's just a question that,
yeah.
It's too hard to answer.
It's very difficult. And the same goes for my favorite book as an author, except I do have an answer for this one. I will choose a favorite child. It is Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe, because it was the book of my heart. Took years to write, to get written, and changed my career. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Neat. Okay. Very good.
Okay, so Kathy Chu noticed similarities to Fantasy Island. People arriving in a place meant to help them along their way. Was that intentional?
Oh my gosh, no, but I love it.
I had forgotten all about that show, and I used to watch it until that question.
I haven't thought about Fantasy Island in years. It's got to be streaming somewhere, right? I would love it. It is, I guess, very much like that, though. You kind of detoured, and you get kind of the healing that you need, and then you move on. So yeah, I don't mind that. I wish I'd thought about doing an island.
Full correlation. Absolutely.
Could have really tied it in. Yeah.
In our book club, we've discussed another novel where a character is struck by lightning, but in that novel, the character experiences premonitions instead of memory loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've already alluded to this because of your own life, but the question is, where did Juliet's experience of memory loss originate for you? And I think you've already alluded that you have experienced some memory loss yourself.
I have, and I did want her to have I needed a kind of that defining moment that changed her life, the before and after. And so I didn't really want to do like the car crash or something like that. So right around the time I started writing this book, there was actually a lightning strike near us, and a young man was hurt. He's doing okay now. He's still dealing with the after effects, but I just think how fast I think about it all the time, how fast life can change. One flash, literally a flash, and your whole life can change. And I just thought that was kind of profound for her in this story, and how she did have the loss of her grandfather and the loss of her memory. And how do you come back from that? And, and this all led her to this place. And it was just a really strong desire for her to find her way back to normal.
Gotcha.
Several readers were fascinated by the cookbook book club. Is this something you have done yourself?
I haven't. So this actually, I really wanted to write a whole book about a cookbook. I can't say it either. A cookbook
in the air
club. And I never got around to it. I was well, I'm going to use the concept in this book. I was invited, gosh, it was probably like 10 years ago now, 5-10 years ago, to a little shop that's now closed here in Ohio. It was a cookbook shop, and that's pretty much what they sold was cookbooks,
Wow.
new and old and in between. And then they also had some, kitchenwares and things like that for sale. And I just thought this was the coolest idea, is to have a cookbook book club. And then there's a shop near me called the Book Bus Depot, and they actually have a cookbook book club. And I haven't been yet, but I did buy one of the cookbooks last year to kind of, because it just sounded so cute. And I just love the concept. But I was running into issues with copyrights. So I really kind of wanted to put in recipes or what they were called. And I'm like, well, how can I get around this? And it's go back to vintage cookbooks, because they're, we can use those ones because they're not, the copyrights doesn't hold anymore. So I went searching on the Library of Congress for old cookbooks, and I happened to come across the one that's in the book. And that is a real cookbook, and you can get those recipes on the Library of Congress for free if you're, interested in prune whip. Go for it. So,
Prune whip. Oh God, the prune whip. Yeah.
I'm not sure about
I wasn't sure about it either.
I personally can pass on the prune whip.
But it made for fun writing. So
yeah. My mother was an average cook. She was not a stupendous cook, but boy, she loved cookbooks. And when she died, I inherited 144 cookbooks.
Oh my gosh.
stars.
Most of them I had given away, but I've saved a few. And she would cook a few recipes out of now and again, but she liked to buy a cookbook and read it like we like to read a novel.
It's a whole hobby into itself.
Yeah, I mean, literally, that's what she did. She read cookbooks. Yeah, crazy.
That's crazy. No, I did not mean that was crazy.
Well, not crazy, but unusual. This is my last question, and you've been mentioning your standalone, so I might know the answer to this. But have you thought about a sequel to the Forget Me Not Library? Because you've got a situation here where people can keep coming, to like Fantasy Island, where they can bring their troubles and heal.
So I think about sequels all the time, and part of it that's been holding me back is, like, when I wrote the books, it was just supposed to be that book and that story. And so do I have other stories that can support what I created in the first books? And maybe I never say never. So you never know, you might see a sequel from me down the road. And I kind of hope so. I do miss them when they're gone, the characters.
Yeah. So. Right. Yeah, I do too.
You certainly have a lot of material to work with there. If you wanted to have, a sequel or 3, you could certainly do that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're down to the rapid fire round. All right, coffee or tea?
Oh, gosh, I love both, but I'm going to go with coffee first and then tea.
Okay. Susie,
morning writer or night owl?
Oh my gosh, it really depends if I'm on deadline. So if I'm on deadline, all bets are off. I'm up all hours of the day. But I mostly like to write in the morning, between like 9 and 12, or like my prime. My brain is functioning, like the coffee has kicked in, and don't have the afternoon sleepies yet. So I would say morning.
Okay. I think I can guess the answer to this. Cat person or cat person?
They're just,
you've already said
I love them. We used to volunteer at our local animal shelter in the cat section to socialize the kittens, and it was just like heaven on earth for me, because I could get my fill and then go home and not have to worry about my son breaking out in hives. So love them.
Okay, favorite author?
This is so hard.
I didn't make this up now.
I'm going to go with Jane Austen, just because she's classic. It's funny. It's timeless. And there's some good lessons to be learned there. And it's always entertaining. And when I'm reading, I really want an escape from the real world. And I mean, how far can you get from the real world than Regency England? So
there you go.
Okay. Plotter or pantser?
I am a pantster. So I will do kind of a rough. I'll pants until about page 100, and then I'll kind of plot out till the end. So I'm kind of a hybrid, but I cannot start a book with a plot because I just need to see where the characters are taking me, which causes me trouble. Let me tell you, it causes me some issues, and I've tried to plot the beginnings, and I just cannot. But
I'm the same way.
yeah, it's hard. It's just hard.
Your favorite hobby?
Oh, I have so many. So right now I'm on an embroidery kick. I love to crochet. I love to bake. I'd have to say my favorite hobby is baking, and then reading, of course. Because we're all readers before we're writers, right?
Right.
So
if we weren't, then probably not published because we can't write.
that's right. But yeah, baking. I love baking. Yeah.
Okay. What are 3 things about you we might not guess?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
There are 50 of them on your website.
I know. There's more on my Heather Blake site too, so you can really get a whole cross match. One of the things I was thinking of right before I came on, signed on to this, was before a Zoom or a camera face, I brush my teeth. I'm not seeing you guys in person. Why am I brushing my teeth? But I do it before every kind of live recording. Another thing, I'm such an open book. This is a really hard question. I can't really think of anything.
All right, we're not going to sweat it.
I want to hear some more of them. There's 50 of them on our website.
Yes, on my website.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Heather, thank you so much for spending time with us today. There's one question I left out that I do want to ask as a wrap up. What's next for you?
What's next for me? So I am currently working on the revisions for my next book, which will be out in December. Right now it's December. I'm hoping that holds. It is The Magic of Chamomile Cottage, which is another story set in Alabama about two cousins. One owns a tea shop and one is a writer, and they're trying to kind of rewrite the sad ending of their small town. And they find out that the best story of all is their story. So it's been a lot of fun.
Good.
Well, thank you.
We have enjoyed very much learning more about you and magic. So thank you for being
Thank you guys so much for having me and for being so supportive. And thank you to everybody who was in the group and read the book. I appreciate it.
Well, we really enjoyed it. There was a lot of chit chat, a lot of positive comments about the book. People seem to really enjoy it. I think it's in the sweet spot for our group. Everybody just really enjoyed it. And I think in January, people needed something, uplifting. So the uplift was good. But anyway, to everybody who watches our interview, thank you for being a part of the Lowcountry Book Club. Keep the conversation going in comments. Maybe Heather will pop in and respond.
I will pop in.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.